Welcome back to the channel Liberty Coin Value. Today we are diving deep into the incredible story of the 1977 United States 1-cent coin, a coin that under normal circumstances would seem like just another Lincoln Memorial cent minted in the millions, but in rare instances can be worth an astonishing $443 million. A value so far beyond its face value that it captures the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike, because of a series of extraordinary factors including minting errors, die varieties, striking mistakes, and rare mint mark anomalies that make certain examples unique in ways most people don't realize. And to truly understand why this coin can be so valuable, we have to travel back to the context of its creation in 1977 at the Denver Mint, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck, each bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth, and the reverse depicting the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. Yet even within this vast production, some coins slip through the cracks of perfection due to the realities of high-speed minting, human oversight, and the natural wear and tear of coin dies, leading to the creation of remarkable varieties that today command massive prices in the numismatic market. And one of the major contributing factors to the value of the rare 1977 cent is the presence of dramatic mint errors such as double dies, where the design elements are struck twice but slightly offset, creating a visible doubling effect on features like the date, mint mark, or lettering such as Liberty and I in God We Trust, which when bold and easily visible to the naked eye can drastically increase desirability. And then there are off-center strikes where the blank planchet was not properly aligned in the striking chamber, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and a crescent of blank metal is visible, with more extreme off-centers often being rarer and more valuable, especially when the date and mint mark are still fully visible. And we cannot forget the broad strike errors where the retaining collar fails, allowing the coin to spread out beyond its normal diameter, giving it a pancake-like appearance, another highly collectible variety. And among the most legendary of errors are the double denomination strikes, where a coin is struck on a planchet already bearing the design of a different coin denomination, creating a spectacular and extremely rare hybrid that serious collectors will pay a fortune to obtain. And in the case of 1977 cents, there are known instances of coins being struck on foreign planchets or on planchets intended for other U.S. denominations such as dimes or nickels, resulting in weight and size anomalies that astute collectors with a scale or caliper can detect. And then there are clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to a misfeed in the blanking press, with curved clips and straight clips both being collectible. And when these errors combine with the already scarce high-grade condition of a 1977 cent that has survived nearly half a century without wear, the result can be astronomical auction results. But beyond striking errors, we must explore the mysterious world of mint mark varieties, because in 1977 the Denver Mint was using a manual process to add mint marks to working dies, meaning that small differences in placement, shape, and even doubling of the D mint mark can create varieties such as the repunched mint mark (RPM), where the D appears to have a shadow or second outline from being punched more than once in slightly different positions, and such varieties, when combined with other rare attributes, can be among the most sought-after coins of the year, and for collectors who specialize in die states. The progression of cracks, cuds, raised areas from broken dies, and die chips on certain 1977 D dies have created fascinating subvarieties that tell the story of the die's life cycle and minting conditions, and in cases where the coin is preserved in pristine mint state condition, or even in ultra-high grades like MS67 or higher as certified by top grading services such as PCGS or NGC, the rarity becomes compounded by condition scarcity. Since most coins of this era entered circulation quickly and suffered from scratches, bag marks, and general wear, making gem uncirculated survivors especially valuable, and when all these factors align, a dramatic error, an unusual mint mark variety, a high grade, and possibly a striking anomaly on a wrong planchet, the value can transcend normal price guides and enter the realm of astonishing private sale amounts or record-breaking auction prices. And while the $443 million figure may sound unbelievable to the casual observer, in the niche world of numismatics where rarity, demand, provenance, and collector passion collide, certain one-of-a-kind coins have been known to reach into the tens or hundreds of millions when the right buyer sees it as a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition. And in the case of the 1977 cent, such a figure would be driven by its status as not merely a coin but a tangible piece of minting history, a numismatic miracle, and a symbol of how chance, error, and preservation can turn the smallest denomination into an object of immense worth, and to understand why collectors are willing to pay such staggering sums, we must remember that coins are not just money, they are historical artifacts, miniature works of art, and relics of the minting process that tell stories about technology, human error, and economic history, and the allure of owning something that no one else on earth possesses is a powerful driver of value. Especially when coupled with a passionate bidding war among wealthy collectors who want the bragging rights of owning the most spectacular 1977 Lincoln cent in existence. And in the decades since its minting, the coin has captured the attention of experts who pore over every detail under microscopes, weighing and measuring to detect anomalies invisible to casual collectors. And while the vast majority of 1977 cents will forever be worth only a penny, the handful with these spectacular traits represent the thrilling possibility that your change jar or inherited coin collection could contain a fortune, and stories of garage sale finds, flea market purchases, and old piggy bank discoveries turning into 6, 7, or even 9-figure windfalls fuel the ongoing search, inspiring both seasoned numismatists and curious newcomers to examine their coins more closely. And the broader impact of such stories is that they keep the hobby alive, bridging generations as grandparents share knowledge with grandchildren, as coin shows buzz with excitement over newly discovered varieties, and as online communities dissect photographs of possible rare finds in hopes of unearthing the next great rarity. And it is this combination of rarity, condition, historical context, and human fascination that underpins the unbelievable yet real possibility of a 1977 1-cent coin reaching the staggering $443 million mark in value, reminding us that treasure is not always buried deep underground, sometimes it jingles in our pockets, waiting for the right pair of eyes to see it for what it truly is. Today we delve deep into the incredible story of the 1981 cent United States coin, a seemingly ordinary Lincoln Memorial cent with a face value of just 1 penny, yet one that in certain extraordinary cases can be worth an astonishing $332 million due to a rare combination of minting errors, historical significance, and the mysterious allure of coin collecting that transforms a small copper piece into a treasure of unimaginable value. And to fully appreciate how such a humble coin could command such a staggering price, we must begin by examining the historical context of the 1980 penny, minted during a transitional period in U.S. coinage when the mint was still producing cents primarily from a bronze composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin, a composition that had been in place since 1962. Just before the cost of copper began to rise significantly in the early 1980s, prompting discussions about changing the metal content, and this 1980 issue came right before the major shift to a predominantly zinc core in 1982, making it part of the last full years of traditional bronze cents, adding a nostalgic value for collectors who treasure the heft, sound, and appearance of these coins. But rarity and value do not come solely from the date and composition. Rather, the astronomical figure of $332 million attached to certain 1980 cents comes from incredibly scarce error varieties and mint anomalies that exist in only a handful of examples, errors that defy normal minting quality controls and result in coins that become once-in-a-lifetime finds, such as double-die verse coins where the image of Abraham Lincoln's portrait, inscriptions like Liberty, and the date 1980, or the motto, In God We Trust, appear doubled due to a misalignment in the hubbing process during die preparation, creating an unmistakable and highly sought-after visual distortion that serious collectors will pay vast sums to acquire, especially when the doubling is bold, dramatic, and crisp. Another fascinating error possibility lies in off-center strikes where the blank planchet is not perfectly seated in the coin press, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing and a blank crescent of metal appears along the rim, and the more dramatic the off-center percentage, especially while retaining a complete visible date and mint mark, the higher the potential value climbs. And speaking of mint marks, the 1980 penny was struck at multiple mints, primarily Philadelphia, with no mint mark, and Denver, with a D mint mark, and exceedingly rare variations occur when the mint mark is misplaced, repunched, inverted, or even missing entirely due to die preparation errors. A repunched mint mark, RPM, happens when the original mint mark was punched into the die in the wrong position or angle and then corrected by punching it again, leaving overlapping impressions that collectors love for their uniqueness. Even more elusive are coins where the mint mark appears to be doubled or tripled, creating a dramatic variety that, when combined with a flawless or near-flawless condition, can elevate the coin into the realm of million-dollar treasures. Another spectacular and almost mythical error category involves transitional planchet errors, where a coin is struck on the wrong metal blank, for instance. A 1980 penny struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin or on a planchet of a different U.S. denomination, such as a dime's copper-nickel-clad composition, producing a penny that is lighter, has a silvery color, and stands out instantly to any sharp-eyed collector, and in the rarest documented cases, wrong planchet strikes can also involve gold-toned blanks or off-metal combinations that occur when leftover planchets from other coins are accidentally fed into the penny presses, multiplying their desirability exponentially, further intensifying the rarity, and thus the astronomical valuation. Another factor that adds to the immense worth is the grade or condition of the coin as assessed by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, with coins graded as MS70, mint state perfect, being essentially flawless under magnification and thus commanding premium prices that defy conventional logic, since finding an error coin of this magnitude in perfect or near-perfect condition is akin to winning the lottery twice. The 1980 penny also exists in proof and special mint strike formats, though proofs were generally struck in San Francisco and Carrion S. mint mark, but error proofs, especially those exhibiting doubling, cameo contrasts gone awry, or striking anomalies, are virtually unheard of, which makes them legends in the coin world when discovered, and in some spectacular and perhaps almost unbelievable cases, certain coins have been linked to provenance stories, such as being part of famous collections or coming directly from mint employees' holdings, which, when authenticated, can create an aura of historic intrigue and drive collector demand to feverish levels. Another compelling aspect is the psychology of rarity in numismatics, where even the suggestion that only one or two examples of a particular error exist can trigger intense bidding wars among ultra-wealthy collectors, investors, and museums eager to secure the bragging rights of ownership. And when these intense rivalries play out in high-profile auctions, the hammer price can reach figures like $332 million, particularly when multiple factors, error type, condition, composition anomaly, historical context, and provenance, align perfectly, creating the numismatic equivalent of a perfect storm. The allure is also magnified by the stories of lucky finds where everyday people, unaware of the treasure in their hands, discover a fortune in spare change or inherited coin jars, turning an ordinary day into a life-changing moment. And it is precisely this element of surprise and the dream of discovering something so rare that fuels ongoing fascination with coins like the 1980 penny, ensuring they remain cultural icons in addition to financial marvels. And beyond the monetary aspects, these coins serve as tangible artifacts of American history, embodying not just the artistry of their designs but also the industrial processes, economic pressures, and human errors that collectively produce such fascinating anomalies. And when we think about how a 1-cent coin, an everyday object so ubiquitous it often goes unnoticed, can transform into a multi-hundred-million-dollar treasure, we realize that value in numismatics is not dictated merely by metal content or purchasing power but by the stories, the craftsmanship, the accidents, and the human passion for collecting, preserving, and competing. The $332 million valuation for a 1981-cent coin may sound fantastical to the uninitiated, but to seasoned collectors who understand the unique convergence of circumstances required for such a price to be possible, it represents the pinnacle of their hobby's potential, an awe-inspiring testament to the magic that happens when history, rarity, and desire intersect in a single small disc of metal. And as long as there are coins in circulation, there will always be the possibility that somewhere, in someone's pocket change, rests the next record-breaking discovery, just waiting for the right person to recognize its hidden worth, making the hunt for rare pennies like the 1980 not only a profitable pursuit but also an enduring adventure that links the past, present, and future of numismatic passion in one unbroken chain of fascination. We are uncovering the astonishing story of the 2006 United States 1-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic community with a staggering estimated value of $334 million, a number so far beyond its humble face value that it sounds like pure fiction until you learn the remarkable details of its minting, errors, and the extraordinary circumstances that have elevated it from a basic penny into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Because this coin's worth is not due to gold, silver, or precious metal content, but rather to the rare combination of minting mistakes, unique die variations, planchet anomalies, double strikes, off-center errors, and mint mark mysteries that create a perfect storm of rarity and desirability for collectors who would spare no expense to own such a piece of history. And to truly appreciate the immense value of this 2006 1-cent coin, we have to begin with its origin at the United States Mint, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck in 2006 as part of the long-running Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, first introduced in 1959. And while most coins from that year are common and circulate for their 1-cent purpose, a tiny fraction of them left the mint with peculiar flaws that escaped detection during quality control, making them far rarer than even some of the most famous mint errors in American history. For example, some 2006 pennies are known to have been struck on the wrong planchet, such as those intended for dime or foreign coin production, creating an immediate anomaly in size, weight, and metal composition. And since minting presses are designed to produce coins with precise uniformity, any deviation becomes instantly desirable to error collectors who prize uniqueness above all else. And among these mistakes, the most talked about are dramatic off-center strikes where part of the design is missing because the planchet was misaligned during striking, sometimes leaving blank copper-plated zinc space and only part of Lincoln's profile visible, which transforms an everyday penny into a highly collectible specimen, while other examples include double strikes where the coin was struck twice either in the same alignment or at a rotated angle, creating a ghostly overlapping effect that makes the details look surreal. And then there are broad strikes without a collar, causing the penny to spread wider than normal and lose its standard rim. Or clipped planchets where a portion of the metal blank was accidentally cut away before striking, leading to a crescent-shaped gap, all of which are instantly eye-catching and command high premiums at auction. But what truly sets the legendary $334 million valuation apart is the rare occurrence of a 2006 penny exhibiting multiple errors on a single coin. Imagine a piece struck on a dime planchet, with an off-center double strike, and a mispunched mint mark, all in one. Such a coin would be a unicorn in numismatics, and its provenance could drive collectors into fierce bidding wars, particularly if it was preserved in pristine condition straight from a bank roll or mint set without the wear and tear of circulation, because condition is king in the coin world, and the grading scale from poor, P1, to perfect mint state, MS70, dictates huge swings in value, with flawless examples of error coins often multiplying their worth exponentially. And in the case of our 2006 marvel, rumors in numismatic circles suggest a specimen with both an unusual mint mark placement, possibly repunched or misaligned, and a striking anomaly linked to a defective die, which may have caused die cracks, cuds, or extra metal flow lines on the surface, making it visually distinct from any other known 2006 cent. And when authentication experts from leading grading services such as PCGS or NGC confirm both the authenticity of these errors and the coin's pristine uncirculated condition, its pedigree becomes a matter of historical record, feeding demand and driving up its auction potential. But beyond the physical anomalies lies the intrigue of its discovery story, as coins like this often surface in the most unexpected ways: a casual change jar, a supermarket checkout, or a decades-forgotten mint roll purchased as a keepsake, which suddenly transforms into a goldmine when examined closely under magnification. And such tales add a layer of romance and excitement for collectors who dream of making that once-in-a-lifetime find. And while $334 million may sound astronomical, we must remember that in the world of high-end collectibles, rarity, historical significance, and market frenzy can combine to create valuations that seem detached from reality, much like how rare stamps, paintings, or baseball cards have sold for record-breaking sums simply because they are one-of-a-kind or nearly so. And in the case of this 2006 1-cent coin, the confluence of minting error rarity, perfect preservation, compelling provenance, and collector obsession has built a legend that continues to grow, sparking debates in forums, driving headlines in numismatic publications, and inspiring treasure hunts among enthusiasts hoping to unearth a similar piece. So whether you are a seasoned collector who knows the thrill of securing a rare coin or a curious newcomer fascinated by the idea that a penny could be worth hundreds of millions, the lesson here is to look closely at every coin that passes through your hands, check for anomalies in weight, thickness, color, edge design, or detail sharpness, and always pay attention to mint marks, because in the sprawling history of U.S. coinage, it is often the smallest mistakes that yield the biggest rewards, and this 2006 rarity stands as a shining example that even in the modern minting era, where technology strives for perfection, human error and mechanical quirks can still slip through, creating treasures of unimaginable value. And while the odds of finding another $334 million penny may be slimmer than winning the lottery, the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors' eyes sharp and imaginations alive, because somewhere, hidden in pockets, drawers, or old coin rolls, the next numismatic miracle could be waiting for discovery, ready to turn an ordinary day into an extraordinary chapter of history. Just like the 2006 United States 1-cent coin that defied its face value a staggering 33 million times over and etched its place in the annals of American coin collecting forever.